it's me again. I hope you're doing good on your masks. The thing is, this video goes with the other video, the video about how to make the pocket masks. Well, you learn more all the time, right? So when I put that video together, I was like, I figured all the stuff out from watching other people, and I'm going to show people what I figured out. Well, now I figured out some more things, mostly the same, but a little bit different, but that doesn't mean it's better, but some of it probably actually is. So let's get started. These are like tips and tricks to help it go better, faster, like that. Okay, now, do you see this? Okay, do you see this? This is, my eyes got older and they can't see as well. And I need bright light, and I need glasses, and I need all the help I can get. So on my cutting mask, I took my Sharpie and I drew some lines on the 5s and 10s because my other cutting mat, my candle burned a hole in it. Well, sort of a hole, but it's not good for cutting. So it's still sitting over there, but this one didn't have the line, so I drew those. And for this project, I'm mostly doing the adult masks, and I'm doing a lot of the cutting, and I want things to go faster, 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 and get more done. So I took some tape. Can you see these? These say 14 inches, and they have an arrow pointing down. That means when I put my cutting edge, I'm going to put it right where the arrow is showing at that line that it's pointing to. Down here, they say 14 inches and an arrow's pointing up. That means when I put my cutting edge, I'm going to put it right where that point of the arrow is. And then I'm just going to be like, and then this is my fabric. If you want to know how I iron it, I made a video. You can go watch the how to iron fabric video. Wash your fabric, dry your fabric, iron your fabric. When I do the ironing, I fold it in half and I try to line up the edges, and I almost did. I mean, I mostly did. And I'm not going to obsess about it because it's fine. So I've got my edge here where it's double layer, and this is the open part. You'll probably be sorry if you start cutting on the fold, because when you get to the end, I cut, okay, so 14 inches, we're going to do that. We're going to take our cutting edge, we're going to put it right there. Now, why do I have 14 this way and 9 that way? Well, it doesn't matter on this piece of fabric right here because there's no pattern on it. But I realized on another one, this one, it does have a pattern orientation. And with the peace signs, it really doesn't matter because peace signs can be sideways or up and down. But like my little frogs, they really are better going up and down. Now, did I cut some frogs the wrong way? Yes, I did. And I'm going to use those masks? Yes, I am. Because we're making masks because they need to be used. And it doesn't matter if the frogs are hopping sideways. But if, you're thinking about it ahead of time, which we now are, we're going to do it that way to go with the pattern, so that once you have your frog, that's not it. Once you have your frog cut out, he's going to be hopping the right way because your pattern will go the long way. So there we go. We'll cut across here at our 14 inches, and then I have 9 to 9 with arrows there, and so I'll just cut right here. And when I do that, I'm going to wind up with this, right? A double layer, 2 rectangles ready to go. Then I'm going to move my cutter to here. I will have cut that part off. It's gone. This is still the open end because it is. And so when I cut these two, I've now got 4 rectangles, 2 from here, 2 from here, double layer. And then I'm left with this. Well, what is this? This is, this is this. This is this. I'm left with this. And if I had cut it off of this end, I would have 2 strips of this. But since I cut it at the fold, I've got this. Now, depending on how wide your fabric is, that might be enough to make an actual whole nother mask or something else, but it definitely is going to be enough to cut a kid's mask out of, right? There we go. Now, you're going to also inevitably end up with a whole bunch of fabric scraps, so you're going to just keep these in a box, and then some of you are going to make a quilt out of them, and some of you are going to make a coat of many colors. Some of you, and what we're gonna probably do, my son got these little dragons, and then we have these little I reuse everything I can with these little plastic containers that are gonna be like the dragon cages or dens, and so we'll probably make like, I don't know, pillows, something like that. Don't throw anything away. Don't throw anything away. You know why those of us that have all the stuff, it's because we didn't throw stuff away. So throw away some away stuff when you have to, but on the regular, don't. All right, so we ironed it, we washed it, we cut it. Oh, these are the assembly things that are going to make it go a little bit faster. Assembly line style to a certain extent. I mean, you don't want to be overwhelmed with all of one particular thing, a particular step, because you're going to feel overwhelmed that way. We don't want to feel overwhelmed. But if we are cutting one square at a time, That would be ridiculous. We just did that cut and we came out with 4, maybe 5. That's what we want to do. Now what I do, these are the steps. We got a bunch of these and I get my machine in front of me and I hem all the edges, a whole bunch of them. Now this is another hint. I'm going to run it through my machine. I'm going to leave it there right when I go. I'm not going to do anything cutting wise because if I pulled it off, cut it, that's that much time and that's that much thread that I wasted, and then I need the other little tail. I'm just going to put the next piece under my presser foot. I have a roll presser foot thing, so I'm gonna sew it like this, and when I get to here, I'll just stop and I'll put my next piece of fabric in, and then I'll just sew a whole bunch of that side hemmed, and when I have that, I'll have like a bunch of fabric that's stuck together like this, which is the teeny little string in between it. Sorry, I didn't demo that, but it'll have a teeny little string like that, and you can actually take your scissors. You don't even have to, because if you had those other strings, you'd have to actually this, but with this little string, you can just kind of boop, just boop, and then they're cut apart. Then you take that whole stack, you come to the other side, you make sure that they're facing the right way for the hem, and you run them all through, and then you have a whole bunch of hemmed fabrics that you're ready to do your fold on. Now this is the next tip. I told you in the last video that you should fold it down to 4 inches and then fold it up so the total height is 6. We still want the total height to be 6, but 2 reasons you might not want to do 4 inches. 4 inches might put, if you have a pattern, it might put your frog not in the middle of your 6 inches, right? Right there is my 6 inches on this particular cut, and my frog's right there. So that's perfect, right? It doesn't matter. The frog doesn't have to be in the middle. But if that's something you care about, or maybe especially if you're making kids masks, or I don't know, you can adjust that because it still needs to be total height of 6 inches. As long as you have folded down anywhere between, well, it'd be 1 and 5, right? Or it could be 2 and 4, or it could be 3 and 3. Now a benefit to the 3 and 3 might be that now you have this meeting more in the middle. So when you do your pleats, oh, we're going to change the pleats a little bit. When you do the pleats, maybe that will be good, especially if you have a thicker fabric. So you can play around with that. Usually I do my top fold either 3 or 4 or sometimes 5 inches. 5 gets it pretty close to the edge, and that's not my favorite. So I'm looking for 3 or 4 usually. All right, so what I'm going to do is a whole bunch of this step. I have all my hem, and I'm going to go ahead and fold it down, clip it, put my ribbons in, and I'm going to do a whole bunch of them. Oh, before I do that, after I do the hems, usually I'll do a bunch of cutting and a bunch of hemming at once because it goes so fast. And then I just put them in my box here. And then when I make masks personalized for custom orders sometimes. And if I do that, here's another tip. I get a baggie and I write their name on it. See, Happy C has ordered 1 blue adult, 1 space child. They ordered 2 pink stripes, but so I don't get confused and not make 2, I put 1 pink stripe and 1 pink stripe. And then I can already have a place to put theirs, and it's sitting there going, hey, Happy C wants her stuff, or he, I don't know. Anyway, and they're all ready to go in here, or I can just pull some out. Anyway, that's how I did it. Now, we're gonna wind up with a bunch of this, right? Where we've got it folded over, and we've got the ties or the ribbon or the cord or whatever in there. And we're gonna do the same thing with the machine. We're gonna do a little zip back and forth, go all the way down the side, do a little extra because that's where the ties are, so you need a little extra. When it gets to this point, right at the edge, don't cut this thing, don't take it out, don't cut it, just get your next one, snug it right in there, and zip to the end, zip, and then get your next one, and then you're gonna have this, right? And then it's not any wasted material and less time because all you're going to do is take your scissors and just do. Then you'll flip them and you'll do the other side, and then you'll have a bunch of this. We're getting there, people. Now this is normal, just like before. You just flip it both ways. Now this is the one I was talking about. We're not going to stress about anything that is out of our control, right? We're just not going to. We're just going to deal with it, and we're going to try to move on. Oh my gosh, I got the peace signs facing the wrong way. That's okay, because that's fine. The peace signs are sideways. In fact, sometimes that's serendipity. Sometimes that's where the very best happy accidents, because I would never think to put the peace sign sideways. Somebody might think to put the piece sideways, but I didn't think to. But maybe I'm like, hey, that looks really cool for whatever reason. There's a thing, a new thing in the world. So now here's the other assembly line thing we're going to do. Oh, wait, we didn't do this. Where did all these ribbons come from? Assembly line style. I cut a whole bunch of ribbons. These are grosgrain ribbons. There's some that I didn't have a lot of, some that are just a little bit left. So if that's the case, I put my little bundles of 4 and I put them in here. So if I come to a fabric, then, we're using everything. This is our Sweet Stripes container. This isn't reused, but I've had it a long time. Okay, so assembly line style, I had prepped a whole bunch of ribbon before. Also assembly line style, I had prepped a whole bunch of my either one that you're using. You can use the twist ties. I use the twist ties almost all the time. They're very little, and I don't know what this came off of. I think it was off of a ribbon spool or something, but these little ties are so little, so I just taped the bottom of it with Scotch tape and made a little holder, but it doesn't stand up by itself because it's so, well, okay, it does, but it falls over easily. And then these little rubbery ones, they kind of get stuck on each other if I do too many, but some of the material I'm using is a sheet. And the sheets are very good. 100% cotton sheets are very good. It's a high thread count. It's good filtration, but they're thin and slick. And I kind of worry that the twist tie might go out of it. So I thought maybe to double over the ends. But so I've just been using the little rubbery one. This one, both of these are from Dollar Tree. You don't get as much of this, but it's really not necessary unless you have a real thin material. Maybe this. Okay, so assembly line style, we've got all of those. So now that we flipped this, oh, here's another thing. If you had, no, that's fine. That's no worries. All right, so now we're going to do a whole bunch of this. Oh, all right. Now this is interesting. 2 changes from before. We're going to put our wire up in here, just like before. That's not a change. That's actually the same. And 3 across. I'm going to clip it. 1. You know how to count. 2. I swear I could talk to the wall. Sometimes I do talk to the wall when I'm practicing for one of my shows. I do children's entertainment, so when I'm practicing for one of my shows, sometimes I, perform to the wall. Okay, so we've got our wire here. Now, what I was doing before is I was sewing that and then coming back and doing the next step. Why would I do that? That's crazy. All right, so here's 2 changes. 1, I'm going to do clipping and pinning on the whole all the way around at once. And this is the other one. Before I was doing 3 pleats to make a 90 degree, about 90 degrees, 85, 95, whatever, don't stress about it. And to where, well, this is 6 inches. We want to get it down to 2. So now I'm going to do is 1 pleat, 2 pleats. Right? Can you see that? I'll do it. 1 pleat, 2 pleats. Now it makes it a little bit thick in the middle, so just work it around. It doesn't matter. This side's longer than that one. That's fine. It's about 2 inches across. That's good. It's about a 90-degree angle. That's good. Now in this one I like to pin it, so I pin that, and I pin that. And again, I like to make sure that it's pretty smoothed out, right? So when I sew it, I'll go back and forth here to a V, and then back and forth here, back and forth here. On this side is usually how I come at it. So I go back and forth, stop, back and forth, stop. Why am I doing it that way, you might ask? Because of Angela! Angela is awesome, and it was a huge compliment to me when Angela said that she liked my pattern and she was going to use it because she's a fantastic artist and super creative. And when she posted a picture of the one she did, I thought, hey, I like that. I think she did it this way. I don't know if she did it that way, but that looks good. That's 2 pleats, not 3 pleats. People don't like pleats. Why would you do more pleats? And so that's what that is. All right, now for this part, we're going all the way around. We've got our wire. We've got our pleats. Now we're going to fold it in half, match the corners, find the middle, make sure it's smooth. Now I'm going to hold that middle, and I'm going to take a straight pin, and I'm just going to mark the middle of the fabric. All I did there is find the middle, right? Now what I'm going to do is make my pleat that makes it tight across the chin right there. So I'm going to make my pleat like that. How big is that pleat? I don't know. It doesn't matter. All right, so I'm going to pin that pleat. Okay, now I'm going to use this as my middle point, and I'm going to move that pleat towards it just like before, right? I'm not sure that it matters if they go on the inside or the outside, as long as they go together. Oh, sorry. So now I don't need the middle marker anymore, so I'm just going to grab that pin and pin that plate. Is that a dart? I think it's a dart. Doop, doop, doop. Okay. All right, so we have our wire and our pleats, and then going around, we're going to, on the same side, there the pleats go, do the same thing. Get it a little bit smooth. Pleat. Hold it with your fingers. Pleat. Hold it with your fingers. Is about 90 degrees. Oh. All right, so now I'm going to pin that one on both sides. Again, I'm going to try and get it to lay pretty smoothly so that when I go over it. All right, look at that. Now, instead of going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in the sewing machine, I'm going to put it in my sewing machine here. I'm going to sew back and forth once because there's a strap there. I'm going to go back and forth across the middle because there's a pleat that's going to have like a lot of strain. And then I'm going to stop, leave my needle down, turn it back and forth, back and forth. When I get to this corner, I'm going to sew and pull my little clips because the wire's there. And I'm going to sew all the way past where my wire is sewing in, right? And then I'm going to leave my needle down and I'm going to turn it. And then I'm going to do just like the other side. So back and forth to the middle in a straight line. Leave the needle down, turn it, sew back and forth twice. When I get to this corner, leave my needle down and turn it. And I'm going to sew straight across the bottom that has the dart. Because why should we just cut it and then go again? That was silly. So I'm going to sew all the way around here. After I get past my middle one, I'm going to stop and I'm just going to sew back and forth over it. I usually just sew back and forth one extra time, but you could do 2 extra times, and then all the way to the corner. And then your whole freaking mask is done. Now let me tell you the sense of accomplishment. When you've done a bunch of that step and done a bunch of this step and done a bunch of this step, and when I say a bunch, I mean like, 5 or 6 or 10 maybe, not more than that. That'd be overwhelming. Or 2, whatever. Then you're like, I finished a mask. And then you'll be like, I finished a mask. And then you're like, I just finished 6 masks. So that's really cool. Okay, what am I missing here? Please, I think that's it. I think we just made our mask. All right, that's good. I'll see y'all.